Ionia. Surrounded by treacherous seas, Ionia is composed of a number of allied provinces scattered across a massive archipelago, known to many as the First Lands. Since Ionia culture has long been shaped by the pursuit of balance in all things, the border between the material and spirit realms tend to be more permeable here, especially in the wild forests and mountains. Although these lands' enchantments can be fickle, its creatures dangerous and fey. For many centuries, most Ionians led lives of plenty. The warrior monasteries, provincial militias, and even Ionia itself had been enough to protect them. But that ended 12 years ago, when Noxus attacked the First Lands. The Empire's seemingly endless war hosts savaged Ionia, and were defeated only after many years and at a great cost. Now, Ionia exists in an uneasy peace. Different reactions to the war have divided the region. Some groups, such as the Shojin monks or the Kinku, seek a return to isolationist, pacifism, and pastoral traditions. Other more radical factions, such as the Navari Brotherhood and the Order of Shadow, demand a militarization of the land's magic to create a single, unified nation that can take vengeance on Noxus. The fate of Ionia hangs in a delicate balance that few are willing to overturn, but all can feel shifting uneasily beneath their feet. The First Lands. Magic suffuses every part of Ionia, its people, its history, and most of all the land itself. All aspects of life here hang in a balance, with still so much left to be discovered and explored. Those who call this vast continent home strive to find harmony among the diverse races and habitats far older than most other on Runeterra. Natural beauty. Ionia is home to many rare and ancient spirits and animals, hidden away from the world and seen by only a lucky few. Even the seas teem with magical life, existing in a state of constant change and renewal. Titans of the past. It is certain Ionia has a much longer and richer history than any living soul could claim to know. Indeed, in the more remote and mountainous highlands, the landscape is still littered with evidence of great wars from ages past, but instead of clearing the ruins, the Ionians choose to respect what remains, even if they no longer fully understand what it represents. I have seen with my own two eyes the blossoms fall and spirits rise. Mystic allies. The people of Ionia's many provinces have always seen themselves as part of the natural world and adapted their ways to live alongside all manner of fantastical flora and fauna. To outsiders, such a close relationship may appear strange, but it is through this independence that both the land and its inhabitants have thrived for countless generations. Life in equilibrium. The pursuit of balance is central to Ionia's beliefs and culture. The peoples living here measure their deeds against the world around them. They live as one with nature, rather than bending it to their needs. The Great Monasteries. Though the birthplace of many specialised forms of martial arts, Ionia maintains no standing armies. Rather, the ways of battle are tied to differing philosophies, passed on with reverence and care. In the northern eastern mountains, the monastery of Hirana has long been a sanctuary for those seeking to better understand their connection to the spirit realm. Harmony and balance. Due to the uniquely thin boundary between realms, natural magic and spirit suffuses every aspect of the land and culture. Ionians have generally embraced that relationship, though there have been those who, at times, would seek to turn it to their own benefit. The land and weather, and all their related spirits, respond to both positive and negative stimuli. Those in tune with the earth can harvest bountiful crops, while those who live as one with the tides will always find their nets full. Invading armies, however, can expect the spirit of Ionia to resist them. Ionians' lives and their notions of permanence are often substantially different from other Runeterrans. Even the most mundane seasonal task can be radically transformed by this. These land fishers collect grains and fruits throughout the long summers by attuning themselves to ever-changing magical currents in the rivers of grass. Living architecture. Ionian's millennia of isolation has meant that this balanced, attuned culture places a high value on keeping up healthy traditions. These customs and attitudes often manifest in Ionia architecture. The structures built here are characterized by a sense of natural flow and grace, aspiring to reflect the ethereal beauty of the land. Also, grand, open spaces ensure that one is never fully divorced from what organically existed there before. Architecture by influence. Ionians try to avoid cutting down trees, so as not to offend or harm the tree's spirits. Instead, wood weavers magically persuade them to grow into the shapes needed for the structure being built. However, the trees are still alive and will continue to grow, which can lead to certain unplanned changes to a home over time. An artisan's mastery. Some temple houses in the highland valleys are shaped into the rocky hillsides, with living whip willows serving as archways and support columns. The transitions between the walls and other realms of these sacred buildings are smooth to the touch, with few hard edges or corners. A rooftop garden. Ionian architecture often includes organically curved, tiled or shingled roofs. Here, branches extended outward from the trees within this building. Rural life. Living in harmony with the land means that form tends to follow nature. Farms and villages sit gracefully within the environment, their floors, doors, and walls echoing the rise and fall to the earth and sky. Schools of learning. Ionia is home to countless schools and temples, which train disciplined students in the ancient martial arts and esoteric philosophy. Deadly and graceful, these fighters, mages, dancers, and scholars spend years in training, hoping to master their craft. During and after the Noxian invasion, many of these traditions were shaken. Extreme, hardline interpretations of their former beliefs are becoming more prevalent, as each practitioner struggles to make sense of the world in the aftermath of all they have witnessed. The path to enlightenment. While it is true that harmony is sought by most in Ionia, few are so far along this path as to be considered truly enlightened beings. Their ideals are lofty, but not all can live up to them, and Ionians can be just as driven by hate, lust, anger, and love as any Runeterran. From Hirana to the Placidium of Navarre, there are places of sanctuary open to those trying to better understand themselves. The Kinku. This Serenade order is dedicated to preserving a balance between the physical world and the spirit realm, without showing a preference for either. They follow a single leader bearing the title of the Eye of the Twilight, who is charged above all with the solemn duty known as watching the stars. The Order of the Shadow. These assassins have taken it upon themselves to defend Ionia from all outsiders, and to move aggressively toward the total militarization of their homeland. Members of the Order traditionally spend several years learning the forbidden arts of shadow magic. The Vastaya Shire. In an age lost to myth, the harmony of the First Lands was shattered by war between mortals and a race of titans that had come from the skies above. Calling upon the wisdom of their ancestors, the most enlightened mortals took to the power of the spirit realm into themselves, becoming Vastaya Shire, deathless shape changers who could wield the natural world itself as a weapon. The Titans were eventually defeated, and the Vastaya Shire were hailed as the heroes of the age. Even so, they refused to put themselves above their mortal kin, choosing instead to live among them as equals. Mystery of the Vastaya. The Vastaya are mystical, chimeric beings, neither mortal nor truly immortal, who are greatly attuned to the magic of Runeterra. Descended from the Vastaya Shire, they long ago formed their own tribes. For thousands of years, the Vastaya have sought to uphold their own spiritual legacy, even when it would bring them into conflict with one another. More recently, as humans have continued to disrupt the currents of magic in the world, relations with many of the Vastayan tribes have soared. No new Vastaya have been born in several mortal lifetimes, and it could be that this ancient race now perceives another time of great change approaching. The Great Stand. Located in the heart of Ionia, the Placidium of Navarre is a symbolic location, steeped in tradition. As such, it was a tempting target for the Noxian general, Jericho Swain, who knew the Ionian residents would never willingly surrender unless their spirits could be crushed. But Ionia was far from united in its defiance of Noxus. Swain had secured the loyalty of disaffected Vastaya, who wanted to protect their ancient magical forest from nature, destruction or conquest. And these unlikely allies helped the Noxians take the Placidium's guardians prisoner. Although far fewer in number, their superior position allowed them to draw the Ionian reinforcements into a trap. The courtyards and causeways of the Placidium become a fierce battleground, until the general himself was brought low by the outraged warriors he had originally captured. The Noxians were routed and the Vastayan agents slaughtered as they fled along with them. The Blade Dancer. The rumour that Aurelia, a young blade dancer from Navarre, had cut down the Noxian general quickly turned into a rallying call for Ionians everywhere. While some still urged meditations on balance, more began to fight back, with magic, with blade and bow, or by stealth and cunning. The people of Navarre in particular were drawn into endless running battles with the Empire's remaining warbands, and Aurelia soon became their reluctant figurehead. Noxian Scars. Though this battle turned the tide of the war, the sanctity of the Placidium had been marred by horrendous bloodshed. Its tranquility lost forever. Noxus had left its mark on Ionia, and a land once united in balance had become broken and divided. To return we will need the weapon.